Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video reporting live from Poland. That's right, we are in Krakow Old Town Square. So don't ever say I don't take you anywhere nice. But we aren't here to talk about Krakow or the fantastic beers that I've had so far. We are here to talk about Newcastle United and the big game we have tomorrow night, taking on Arsenal at the Emirates. I'll be honest, despite what has been some iffy performances of late, Bournemouth at home at the weekend, you know, we got the draw. Matt Ritchie stepped up and found us a point, but there has been a flavour of positivity coming into the end of this week, going into this one. Arsenal, you know, they lost midweek against Porto. You talk about fatigue, you talk about injuries. You know, Newcastle have got some great news with players returning, and we have won 4 away games in a row in all competitions. You know, I don't know why we can't be good at home and away at the same time, but seemingly at the minute, we've decided that away form is the way to go. So let's hope we can continue it tonight. The high pitch in my voice suggests otherwise, and I think it will be very, very tough tonight, but we will see what happens. And I will be doing instant reactions and vlogs, as always, from over here in Poland. So if you fancy checking them out tomorrow night, hopefully I will be celebrating, and I will be having plenty of lovely beers over here to celebrate. But as I say, it will be tough. And to also go into Dan Ashworth, the saga continues. But Keith Downey and Sky Sports have been talking a little bit about that one that I thought I'd mention in this video as well. So be sure to subscribe and drop a like if you do enjoy. And as I mentioned, I will be back tomorrow night. So we'll quickly go into the Dan Ashworth stuff first. Obviously, it's been going on over the last, I was going to say a couple of weeks. You can go as far as months since the initial kind of links were happening between Ashworth and Manchester United. Well, it's kind of got to the point now where Ashworth is on gardening leave. That's right, the man who loves to do a bit of gardening. He did it before he joined Newcastle. He's doing it again now. And look, I don't think anyone's really unaware of the fact that he is going to go to Manchester United. I think it will happen. What has been strange as good old Jimmy Radcliffe, the new Manchester United part owner, has already come out and done an interview. He's called the situation silly and absurd. Now, I don't know what you would do as your first act as owner of a football club, but coming out and basically having a go at everyone would probably not be at the top of my list yet. That is what has happened. He's on about being held ransom by Newcastle, despite the fact that they're trying to buy our player. They're trying to buy a player. Screw the players, it's all about directors of football. You know, as I said, never mind bringing in young players to build them up. Bring in young directors of football to sell them on for 20 million. And that is the reported fee that Newcastle are asking for. Get them all in now. Get 2 or 3 young directors of football in, let them, we'll sell them on for 20 million a go. You know, crazy stuff. But to be said that he is being held ransom, the situation is silly and absurd. I mean, if you were hoping to make this go through nice and easy, I mean, calling the Newcastle owners silly and absurd is probably not the tactic I would have taken. And also, let's just take it all back. If you left your job, you hand your resignation in, I want to leave, they will go, okay, well, you've got to work till the end of the month. Or if you've got a nice manager, they might tell you to work till the end of 2 weeks or 1 week. This has all happened 4 days ago. The reaction from this is absolutely nuts. At the very least, Ashworth would generally work out a month. That's why he's on gardening leave, because even though contractually he should work for some period, we don't want him involved. We don't want him involved for the next month. So we've kind of said to him, yeah, contractually he should probably still be working because he hasn't left. Again, imagine quitting your job on the presumption that someone else is going to hire you without having actually been signed the contract. The whole thing is kind of backwards, and you can understand why the Newcastle owners are a little bit peeved about it, to be honest. They've kind of tapped him up from behind the back. Ashworth's come in and said, I want to leave. And then Radcliffe's going, oh, well, we're not going to pay for him. Right, so is he going to be on gardening leave for 2 years? I mean, that isn't a thing. Newcastle will agree a fee and he will go. And according to Keith Downey at Sky Sports, that 20 million could well be that war chest that Newcastle... I don't think it will quite be a war chest, but I think it will be a substantial fee for Newcastle to spend this summer. If we got 20 million for him, times it by 5, paid across 5 years, that's 100 million to spend this summer. The first job Ashworth would have had this summer would have been to sell a player. To sell a player, to have money, to spend money. If Ashworth himself, Ashworth has taken the bullet for the lads. He's gone, Bruno, Isak, don't leave. I'll go. I'll be the one who jumps. And if that's the case, I'll tell you what, it may well. And I will again say, it's not a good thing. You know, losing our director of football in Ashworth is not a good thing. But he hasn't been here long enough to really build enough that I think is going to be obviously effective. You talk about Isak, who Newcastle signed a month after he got here. You talk about Botman, who we'd been chatting up for about a year. You talk about Bruno, who got him. You know, really, a lot of these kind of key influential players that we brought in actually were before Ashworth, or at least were so close to him coming in that it's not quite the same. So I think it's a bad thing to happen. But I tell you what, if we get 100 million to spend this summer window out of it, maybe I'll get over it. But in the more right now, we do play Arsenal tomorrow night, and I think it will be a tough game. I think we all know that Arsenal are a very good side right now, and there is some sirens going on, so I'll come back to you in a second. They don't give a flyer here. I think that fire truck almost ran about 3 people down just to get to that fire. It's like doing videos outside of St James's Park with the hospital just around the corner. But anyway, yes, a big game tomorrow night, taking on Arsenal, 8 o'clock at the Emirates. I think it's the Arsenal fans more than it is us, to be honest. But every time anything happens to Newcastle, the Arsenal fans have something to say about it online. And I think it's following the fact that we stopped them getting Champions League the year before. And then Arteta having a little cry, the last time we played them. So there is a little bit of something there. But don't get me wrong, Arsenal are favourites here. Arsenal should be winning this game. You talk about Newcastle going into games against Luton, against Bournemouth, and I'll be perfectly honest, well done them, because those are games that Newcastle should look at and go, we're trying to hopefully get European football. They're trying to not get relegated, some of which, and they absolutely pulled the number over on us. That's what we're hoping that Newcastle will do tomorrow night. They are a team that are currently pushing for the Premier League, And we're in a place where we're struggling to try and get into European spots. So if we can pull a number on them, I'd love to see it. And it can't happen. We've had a great form of away recently, and there has been some good news on injuries. Eddie Howe spoke this morning, by the way. Big up the Newcastle lads getting to the darts last night. Absolutely hilarious, flashing up on Sky Sports. Matty Target, Longstaff, Byrne and a few others. Gillespie, all at the darts last night, and they've obviously been media trained because it was bottles of water everywhere. There was not a pint in sight. So I'm sure, Eddie Howe said this morning that he wasn't aware of it. Well, I'm sure he is now, and I'm sure he would have been much more upset if the table had been filled with pints and double vodkas. So they were very clever to get their bottles of water out. But players who weren't there, but hopefully we might see tomorrow, are Isak and Willock. That's right, we've had some big injuries, and it's an interesting one because we also play Blackburn on Tuesday night. And look, I am fully for it. Eddie Howe's not the man to rest players in any situation. As I mentioned already, Arsenal played midweek. We've got a Saturday-Tuesday game. The big lads, they've had a week off. They should be capable of playing 2 games in a few days. And I think that's what we will do. I think Newcastle will push the same 11 for both. Having said that, will Isak and Willock start this weekend? I'm not sure. I think they will be bench players who will come on. And then hopefully, with a bit of time under their belt this weekend, maybe we could see them feature on Tuesday night as well. But there's also talk about Nick Pope making his way back. Anderson's close to return. Joe Linton's close to return. We're finally starting to see some of these players return to the team that can, put us on this push for European football. Now, as I've mentioned, the game tomorrow night, I think, you know me. I will never back us to lose. I will never predict us to lose. I can't do it. It's not allowed. But I tell you what, give me the draw now. Give me the 2-2 right now. Bit of fun, a few goals. Away for it. Reporting live from here. Hopefully a lot drunker tomorrow and a lot happier after the end of the game. So as I mentioned, be sure to subscribe. Let me know your predictions for the game down below. Hoping to see some of these players back and, you know, really help push for that European football this season. And as I've mentioned, a big game on Tuesday. I think, you know, I never like trade-offs. I think Eddie Howe will push for both. But in the big grand scheme of things, to win on Tuesday would be big. To really push for that chance into the FA Cup. Now, don't get me wrong, I think European football is still in our grasp this season. And we need to do both. But I never like to have an eye on another game, but I do a bit. Let's hope our away form continues and we can get something at Arsenal. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this video and a bit of a different background today. If you have, be sure to like, follow and subscribe. And I will be back tomorrow night with a reaction after the game. Hoping it's a good one. Enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.